Yeah, you read that. When the first time one of my old schoolmates, who is now a judge in a court, um, I was narrating the case to him. I was sharing certain details as to what happened and all of that. So, you know, right, right in the first few minutes of our conversation, he uttered this: ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And that hurt me. Actually, yeah, I mean, you can't plead ignorance, right? But then think about it. You have a medical issue, medical emergency, and you have to get something done. You have to take decisions in a very short time. How much can you understand? How much can you kind of gather from all kinds of sources? What kind of information can you gather, and how much sense can you make of it? Mm. So, even if you try to remedy your ignorance, you not you may not be able to gather everything, and yet you have to continue doing things, continue taking decisions. What's surprising in the case of our office complex is, in different meetings, AGMs and god knows whatever other committee meetings, one would say, when we've when we've discussed this, and when I've brought certain things to awareness as I came to know them, different members had different responses. um, you know in fact, most of them, at least on the face, said that okay, they were not aware of this, they were not aware of that. And but since they sit pretty, they say, now what can be done? Nothing can be done. And as against that, uh, Mr. Chairman Gupta ji has typically maintained your contract is the constitution, your contract is the law, your contract is this, and your contract is that, and everything will be done according to the contract. Suppose he goes by that, he's not even doing that. I mean, he's not following quite a few things written in there, it seems. So, yeah, I mean, while it's true that you should not be ignorant about important matters, but it also looks like a human condition, ignorance. And that is why I think, uh, you know, laws are made, and amendments to laws are also introduced to make it robust enough to make it withstand the abuses or the ignorances of human behavior. Yeah, so now, yesterday night I was reading some cases, inspired by my ignorance. I was keen to read, what happens, what kind of judgments are passed, and what kind of details uh, are a part of such cases and judgments and things like that. I also understood that how difficult it is to be a judge, how you have to pry open almost like a can of worms, and you have to get into all kinds of details, make sense of human behavior, human conditions, human intentions, and alongside all the proof or non proofs that are available or not available. Non-proofs will always never be available. Non-proofs are non-proofs. They don't exist. Even the proofs that are available, making sense of them in, you know, in um, in in the right way, because we know that evidences can be forged, feigned, or even pretended, and things like that. So yeah, I mean, the process of lawmaking is also quite a thing, quite intriguing, quite interesting, very riveting, and it's not an easy job. Um, I understand. I also kind of understand now why it would take so much time for things to happen, for certain cases to come to resolution. Obviously, laws are improved and changed so that it does not take time, and um, certain violations are so standard that law provides to do away with those violations or address those violations in certain ways. So yeah, now of course, as much as one resents uh, going to courts and trying to find solutions through the courts, uh, once you read all these things, you would also understand that um, humans do all kinds of things. Complainants always do not have the greatest intentions. Uh, I'm not saying that complainants do not have the right intentions. Obviously, there are all kinds of complainants. So sometimes complainants understand the law, and in spite of not being in the right, they try to take advantage of the provisions of law and try to create situations which can favor them by trying to use law and things like that. And on the other hand, yes, people who do wrong, they also do wrong because they want to take advantage uh, of of the way everything works, of the way the provisions are laid out in the law, and of the ignorance of other people, and you know things like that. So it's a strange mix, all of this, very strange mix. And because of this strange mix, um, laws are so intricate, and making judgments based on rules, regulations, and laws is an intricate process, and judges have to put in a lot to come to certain conclusions and figure things out. It's not so easy. So it's not like you remember that old movie Andha Kanun. I may have watched it twice or thrice in my childhood. Uh, so ranting against the law and ranting against the system. Sure, I mean, there may be gaps, and there may be weird loops of correspondences and strange gaps, omissions, and things like that. And therefore, it might seem cumbersome, it might not seem true, and it might not seem uh, to be doing the right things on many occasions. But that is that. It's when you get into details, it becomes amazing, and it becomes very difficult. And based on that, you have to do a lot of things, you have to pronounce judgments, and you have to come to conclusions. So, like yesterday, what I read, fantastic. Certain judgments were just so amazing, fantastic. How the judges could, hair split all kinds of things and then come to conclusions. Amazing. See you. It's 10th March 2024. See you soon.